What are those?
What are those? Check it. Whether it's your first time or you need a retreat, this is your place for video games and fresh beats. LB'N'Mie, LB'N'Mie, Last BeNeVoLeNcE and Kimmie. Have you ever met one of those people that was just super cool to hang out with in the past? This person was one of the most down-to-earth people you knew, incredibly relatable and easy to get along with, but you just never got enough time to hang out with them. And as time passed, this person just sort of faded away, started hanging out with other people, heck, maybe even moved away for a while, and then years later just showed up again as almost a completely different person. Now this former friend returns as someone that is familiar yet unrecognizable, all because of this weird metamorphosis that they experience, completely influenced by the people around them. It's like they traded off who they were on the inside for someone they wanted to be on the outside just to fit in, and now they're just a shell of their former selves. Seeing this person may remind you of the good old days, but you know deep down inside that who they are now is no longer the friend you once knew, and being around them makes it worse as you hope to reconnect, but only get that weird, superficial exchange instead. Trust me, I've known enough of these types, and I can say from experience that it sucks, even more so when that person is someone you once identified as a close friend.
What's wrong with you?
However, what I'm talking about here today doesn't always have to be applied to people, and unfortunately, that's exactly how I would describe the game in today's review. This is Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, published by Sega for the PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles. Now, Phantasy Star has been my most favorite series for a very long time, not to mention most of its notable titles being a product of some of the same creators behind my favorite mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog, as well as his games. The developers involved like Yuji Naka and Riko Kodama had created such an interesting and unique take on sci-fi fantasy in video games, but for some reason it just never seemed to take off like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest did, even though these three pioneers of the JRPG genre were released around the same time. Now, if you asked me 3 years ago about the state of Phantasy Star, I'd probably tell you that we'd never see it come out again in the West due to the shiftiness Sega brushed the fandom off with when questioned about PSO2's missing release. So when they finally announced PSO2, we were like, oh my god! You could imagine PSO2 just busting out onto the scene with its fresh combat, countless hours of content, and unique character design, and despite all of that, people still manage to complain like they always do, talking about, oh man, that game is outdated, it's 8 years old. Then Sega was like, nah, check this out. And here we were all thinking it was gonna soar to new heights until it just dropped out of the sky, smacking the ground like, my back. Now, don't get me wrong. NGS really switched up the gameplay in a way that was totally new for the series. It was good. It went from its usual instance-based semi-linear dungeon crawling to an open-world design. And whether this was because they were trying to fit in with the trends of open-world titles of recent years or not, it didn't matter because on a gameplay level, it worked, and it worked really well. They even tweaked the combat just enough for it not only to feel more modern, but feel 5 times better than the base PSO2. The areas are addicting to run around in and explore. The exploration and battle tracks sound great and very PSO-like. The weapon and armor upgrading systems are intricately designed in a way that encourages exploration, and this all makes for a really great framework for an amazing game.
I like how open world it is. It's very pretty and wide. They added gliding, which is so much fun, In real life, I'm afraid of heights, but here I can glide all the way down from the mountaintops. I also really appreciate the waypoints that make it easy to quick travel to wherever you need to go, which is helpful for getting around, especially if there are tasks that you need to take care of that are further away. In every game, I am always drawn to cute stuff, and in this game, I found that region mags are the cutest. They're big and round and have animations that are just adorable. Instead of feeding your mag like in PSO2, you get to feed the region mags that are in different places of the world map. Feeding them can give you different bonuses, like increases to your experience or drop rate too. NGS can be fun to play solo, but I love co-op. My husband helps me with most of my tasks, and when we team up, it's easier to level up faster. The nice thing is that PSO2 accounts are now linked together with NGS, so it was easy for me to access the character I created before. I have all my outfits and hairstyles from PSO2, so I'm able to easily mix and match with the new stuff in NGS. The stores are all in one place, so they are more accessible, which makes it easy to do things like change outfits. Exploring is fun, and the new enemies look cool too. I mean, some of them can look a bit scary and challenging, but beating them up can be rewarding, so it's more fun to play. PSO2 New Genesis for me is a level up from everything we had in PSO2.
But as you play, a single question begins to pop up in the mind, and it gets louder and louder in your head the more you spend time with it. Where'd the content go?
What the dog doing?
Ever played an RPG with about 10 storyless fetch quests, 5 daily quests, and a storyline that's less than 2 hours long? No? Well, welcome to New Genesis. And I guess the community wasn't kidding when they said that fashion was the end game. I remember back in August when they started posting so-called content update videos on the official YouTube channel. I caught the first one thinking, oh, here we go now, new content, let's do... Wait, what? But I didn't lose hope. I figured it was just an early update thing, so when September's content update video came around, I was still optimistic. I clicked on it and thought, this is it. They're gonna finally... Nah, man. Then October's came around and... yeah, this game's hopeless. So all we need to do is max ourselves out at level 20, play the same 2 to 3 urgent quests on rotation every few hours, and spend all our money buying loot boxes for cosmetics. That sounds like fun. Not really. Before PSO2, see, Phantasy Star was never focused on fashion. Yeah, it's cool to customize your character, and that's definitely been an interesting feature since Phantasy Star Universe. But that's not what the game was about. If fashion really was an engaging focus for the end game, New Genesis would be thriving right now. But it isn't. It's like that old friend that used to be cool to hang out with. Yeah, he might be rocking the cleanest gear and freshest looks, might have the coolest moves, but he's completely lost himself on the inside. He's no longer someone you can identify with anymore because instead of being himself, he spent years just pandering to whatever he thought everyone else was looking for. He's just a hollow shell of his former self, superficial with nothing of value below the surface. It's like he can't be a normal person anymore. He can't even hold a regular conversation. Hey. Because he's too busy trying to be cool, wearing his masks. And much to my surprise, people haven't been happy about this either. New Genesis opened up with an incredible amount of players when it launched, but now it's kinda eerie to log into. There's almost no one playing it. Roaming the open field, as they called it, feels empty and barren. If we're being honest with ourselves, that so-called big content update they have planned to release next month in December probably won't be enough to address this problem. And even if it is, I think it'll be too late. We all know how Sega treats Phantasy Star. Once they see any potential failure brought into the picture, they abandon ship in the West, even if it was clearly their fault and not some lack of interest from Western players. Cue the sad music. This probably isn't just the state of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, this is the fall of Phantasy Star. But that's not what I want. Hopefully that's not what anyone else wants. And I'll be the first one to mourn the loss of my favorite series. That former friend may now be just a shell of who he once was, but that doesn't mean we want someone like that to just go away forever. The ideal outcome is for that person to turn around and just stop putting on a show for others and to just go back to being his old self. Of course, after so much time of being fake, it's not always quite that simple. And I really hope this old friend finds himself before it's too late. It'll be really nice to be able to enjoy that endless grind in the open world Phantasy Star experience of my dreams. Teaming up with friends, going on quests, and being a part of a new Phantasy Star story that unfolds and keeps us entertained for years to come. I hope that's how things turn out. But if not, we always have my game Astroverse to look forward to. We crashed on planet Halpha, highest level 20, feeling like we stuck in alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. Not much to do here on the planet Halpha. 2 hours of story content, this is an alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. When it came to them precious sunny days on Genesis, nostalgia hit in many funny ways. Playing the Smash Pack among some crummy games, I would soon discover a place of wonder and amaze. An intriguing little saga built within 16 bits, but the audio wouldn't work, so the BGM was missing. Eminem stand blasting on my dad's system, I listened to that instead, so my experience was different. Years later, I got PSO, episode 1 and 2 and 3, so many tales could be told. On the surface, not much to grind to. After a bit of digging, its depth would shine through. It would remind you, games then had fine tunes and content that reached straight up to high moons. The planet Raggle had the quests and lore, level capped at 200 plus, so much more. But now, 2021, we crashed on planet Halpha, highest level 20, feeling like we stuck in alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. Not much to do here on the planet Halpha. 2 hours of story content, this is an alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. 2021, we crashed on planet Halpha, highest level 20, feeling like we stuck in alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. Not much to do here on the planet Halpha. 2 hours of story content, this is an alpha. I can't believe a new PSO is out, but it's feeling like we got a tech demo of nostalgia. If you like the review or the rhymes or the vibes, like, hit the bell, tell a friend and subscribe. We haven't monetized any of our videos. Support our channel's games, music below, links to those in the description. Thank you for listening. We are Kimmie, and Last BeNeVoLeNcE. Gotta give a shout out to our patrons, Proto Buster, Sword, Ben, Roma, and of course, D. Marquet Davis.